Good morning. My name is Joe Bandel, and I am the last Rosicrucian. Today, we're going to talk about after the Crusades. The general population fell into a Great Depression following the failure of the Crusades. God favored the Muslims over his own people, and it was unthinkable. Minstrels and troubadours sang melancholy songs about how God had betrayed them. Period. The people were disenchanted by the church, by Christianity. Around this time, the Bogomils moved out of Bulgaria through Constantinople and Italy, and then finally settled into fortified areas in southern France after they had been decimated by Muslim armies. Now, I'm going to have to refresh your memory about the Bogomils. The Bogomils lived in that area, the Caucasus mountain regions, that area of what's called Eastern Europe, the Balkans. And I've been trying to trace the thread of organic Gnosticism from that area to the present. Okay, so this is a very important addition here with the Bogomils, because the Bogomils were there in Eastern Europe before Christianity. And in all likelihood, they believed they were influenced strongly with Zoroastrianism and various goddess religions. I believe that the continuing thread of organic Gnosticism traveled with the Bogomils to finally end up in southern France. Now, southern France was the promised land for heretics. It was the classic ground of sorcery and witchcraft. And it was from southern France that witchcraft spread across all of Europe in the later years. Southern France was unique as a meeting ground of cultures. It was a melting pot of all kinds of races, religions, beliefs. It was actually the center point of civilization, of the age. Southern France was filled with Jews and Saracens as well. Rabbis had public schools everywhere and formed bonds between the Christians and the Arabs through their trading exchanges in Salerno and Cordova. Now, Cordova was the seat of black magic, where the arts and sciences were turned to criminal purposes, such as the creation of distillations, syrups, ointments, and surgical instruments. In addition, Arabic numbers, arithmetic, and algebra, those forbidden subjects, were studied. The Kabbalistic teachings of Jews were a tremendous influence on the non-Christian population. in that area. So southern France seemed to be the big meeting point. Now, if we're looking for, as I am, to trace organic Gnosticism, we find its arrival in southern France, the Languedoc region. And it's just a hotbed of heresy and a problem for the church that just wouldn't go away. But it's, well, in the general population in southern France, they were totally disenchanted by the teachings of the church. Um, we've already mentioned that. Now you have the Christians who were represented as social enforcers. They were trying to establish a moral teachings upon the population. The Jews kind of represented the rational atheists that didn't really believe in an afterlife, but they really believed in logic and reason. The Arabs were leading in the medical sciences. And if anybody was interested in studying these things, they would study from the Arabs, because Christianity had plunged the rest of Europe into the Dark Ages. So this was a center point. Now we hear about the Languedoc region, southern France. There's been these movies about that mysterious area. Well, we're coming into that. We're talking about that, and this is the area where a new form of Manichaeanism developed. Now, Manichaeanism existed before, and it got stamped out by the church. And we're going to be talking about that, about this new brand of Manichaeanism in my next post. But the group of people that followed these ideas are the Cathars. So the Cathars are going to be the subject that we're going to be talking about next. But organic Gnosticism, again, I describe organic Gnosticism as the use of the energies of the physical body to develop the soul. In particular, tantric practices and love relationships applied for spiritual development, for growth. And it was experiential. It appealed to the non-educated as well as to the educated. Later on, as we get through this, we're also going to see how these secret tantric teachings were incorporated into alchemy. And guess where alchemy had its start? Right here in Salerno and Cordova, because this was This was the spot. This was the hub of activity. This was the threat to the authority of the Catholic Church that was really having some bad problems at the time. Now, but when we talk about distillations, syrups, ointments, surgical instruments, and the study of mathematics and the sciences, you can just imagine the excitement. You can just imagine the passion, the vitality that existed in this area when, in contrast to the repression, in contrast to the inquisitions that were happening elsewhere. This is where the excitement was. This is where the life force of the whole Western mystery traditions ended up in a confluence of sources, and they merged. They're emerging. I don't have much more to add to this. It's just tracing this through. The main thing I'm going to be talking about next is the influence of the Cathars and the church reaction to the Cathars, and maybe a little bit about their beliefs. But the important thing here is the reemergence of organic Gnosticism and how it could very easily be traced by the arrival of the Bogomils into that area of southern France. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please recommend it, share it with friends. Visit my website. I have a lot of other posts that I'm putting out right now that deal with related subjects, but not the same subject. Please consider donating. There's a donation link on my website. The link to my website is below this video. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful day.